Hi guys, in this practice, there's two problems on every page. I'm going to do the left side, you're going to do the right side on your own paper, hopefully at the same time. They're two totally different problems, but we should come up with the same answer. So let's go to the second slide and see what we're going to do. I'm going to start this side. So these are vertical angles. I'm going to set them equal to each other and solve for x. These are corresponding angles. So they're both acute. My guess is you're going to set those equal to each other as well. So you do your problem, I'll do my problem, and let's see if we get the same answer. Hopefully you can hear my calculator going. So I think x should equal 7, right? If I test that, I can substitute my 7 right here, 7 plus 115. I did that wrong. I know what I did. I didn't show my work. So if I subtract the 115 from both sides, I get x equals -7. So always go back and check your work. Make sure you did it right. So if I go back in here and I do -7 plus 115, I definitely get 108. Check your answers, see if you got the right one. And let's go to the next one. So in question number 2, you're going to do the problem on the right. I'm going to do the problem on the left. You have vertical angles and I have same side interior. So we're going to do two totally different things here, but we should come up with the same answer. Did you get x equals -9? Hopefully, I would double check. So if I put a -9 in here, 79 minus 9 is going to be 70. So my vertical angle would be 70, and -9 plus 119 would be 110. And that is going to work out because they're going to equal 180 degrees. Yours should have been equal to each other. So make sure you set vertical angles equal to each other. On to slide number 4. So I have vertical angles and you have that little right angle mark. So remember with that right angle mark, vertical angles, whether they're acute or right, they're going to equal each other. So hopefully you got x equals 10. Again, you can always double check it. If I take that 10 and I substitute it in here, 4 times 10 is 40 plus 10 is 50. And then if I take 6 times 10 is 60 minus 10, that's also 50. Vertical angles should be congruent, just like your vertical angles should be congruent. Question number 5, these are both alternate exterior angles. They're on opposite sides of the transversal, alternate, and then they're exterior of those parallel lines. So alternate exterior angles are going to be congruent. In this case, they're both acute, so they're going to equal each other. I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. And x should equal 4. Again, you can substitute this in to check. So 17 times 4 plus 2 is going to give me 70. So I know I did that right. You do yours while I do mine. You have alternate exterior angles again. I have alternate interior angles. They're both going to be congruent. You have two acute angles. I have two obtuse angles. Alternate angles are always congruent. Alternate angles always congruent. I think x should equal 9. We can do some substitution to make sure. 13 times 9 plus 3 is 120. So all of my obtuse angles should be 120. 12 times 9 plus 12, also 120. So I know I did it correctly. You've got same side angles and I have alternate angles. So the alternate angles are going to be congruent. The same side angles are going to be supplementary. Same side supplementary. SSS, same side supplementary. So I'm going to set mine equal, and you're going to set yours equal to 180. And x should equal 7. Again, you can always substitute in to double check. And mine works out 115 and 115, and yours should equal 80 and 100 because yours should be supplementary. So again, we're going to do these. I'm going to do the one on the left. Mine are same side supplementary this time. Same side supplementary. So same side supplementary are going to equal 180. Yours are vertical. So what's that relationship going to be? What equation are you going to set up? Oops, I even said it was going to be supplementary and then I set them equal. So I got -8. If I do 103 plus -8, I get 95. And -8 plus 93, I get 85. 85 and 95 are 180, so that works out for me. So did you get -8? -8. I think we've got 3 or 4 more questions here. Oh, we've got more than that. All right. Corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are going to be congruent. These are both acute angles, so they're going to equal each other. You've got alternate interior angles. They're both obtuse, so they're going to equal each other. So set your equations equal. X equals 11. Again, you can substitute that back in. 55 plus 5 is 60. And then 44 plus 16 is 60. So think to yourself, what are you going to do? What kind of pairs do you have? They kind of make a Z on the interior of those parallel lines. That means they're alternate interior. Alternate interior angles are always congruent. So we're going to set those equal to each other. And we subtract the smaller x. I move the x's to the right. I move the numbers to the left, and I get x equals 3. If you substitute that in, that should work. 18 times 3 plus 2 is 56. And 19 times 3 minus 1, also 56. Notice those vertical angles are going to be congruent. Problem number 11, mine is different than yours. So I have alternate exterior angles. They're going to be congruent. You have same side interior angles. Same side is always supplementary. Yes, it is. Same side supplementary. So I'm going to equal mine because they're alternate, and you're going to set yours equal to 180 because they are supplementary. And x should equal 6. And of course, you know by now you can always go back and double check your answers. For me, 16 times 6 plus 4 is in fact 100. So if you check yours, 17x minus 2 should equal 100. This is where it gets a little more complicated. So right now it's pretty much the same. I've got the z, so those are going to be alternate interior. They're going to be the same. 14x minus 3 equals 8x plus 5. So I'm going to subtract, and I'm going to get 6x and add equals 18, and x equals 3. Now this is where it's going to be different. I don't think your answer is going to match. Okay, so you've got corresponding. Corresponding are going to be congruent, so set those equal, and we'll talk tomorrow about what you get. Slide number 12. I'm going to do mine. These are going to be supplementary because they're same side interior. So 3x plus 5 plus 7x minus 15 is going to equal 180. Okay, I'm not going to bother doing that one right now because I'd like to help you with yours. If you notice, you've got a y variable here, and then an x variable here, and an x variable here. If you have 3 expressions, you want to look for the expressions that match. So this 8x minus 61 and 6x minus 13, those match. They've both got the same variable. So let's look at those pink angles first. I've got an obtuse angle and then an obtuse angle. So I'm thinking those are alternate, and they look like they're outside the parallel line, so they're going to be alternate exterior. Alternate exterior are congruent. Alternate exterior are congruent. So we're going to set those equal to each other. 8x minus 61 equals 6x minus 13. Once you get that answer, then you're going to get those two, right? And those two things can be linear pairs, so they're going to equal 180. So as soon as you figure out what x is, substitute that back in here and try to solve for that. And we'll talk about that one tomorrow as well. In question number 14, or line number 14, we're going to do the exact same thing. So I've got a couple of things here. These two now share the variable. So I'm going to do 4x plus 23 plus 9x minus 38 equals 180. I'm going to collect my like terms. 9x and 4x is 13x. And then plus 23 and minus 38. So if I do 23 minus 38, I get negative 15 equals 180. So 13x equals 195. And 195 divided by 13 is 15. X equals 15. So this is what I was talking about in the last one. Now you've got to substitute it in. And it doesn't really matter which one. I tend to like not to have to subtract things. So I'm going to put it in here. 4 times 15 plus 23. So 4 times 15 plus 23 is 83. This angle is 83 degrees. So that means that those two angles are going to be the same because they're alternate interior. So 21y minus 1 equals 83 degrees. So if I do 83 plus 1 divided by 21, I get 4. Y equals 4. So y equals 4 and x equals 15. That's the same thing you're going to do here. You've got vertical angles with x's. So you find x and then substitute in x to find y. So we'll talk about number 6 tomorrow. Do that one tonight so we can discuss it though. And then same thing here. You're going to find the things that match. Find the things that match. So I've got my x's here. Those are same side supplementary. So 3x plus 11 plus x plus 21, equals 180. So 4x, I'm just combining my x's, plus 11 and 21 is 32, is 180. So 4x equals 148, I think, mental math-wise. I'm going to double check it in my calculator. 148, perfect. And then divided by 4 should give me 37. X equals 37. So I'm going to substitute that in, and let me substitute it in here. 37 right there. So 3 times 37 plus 11 is going to give me 122. Because these angles are vertical, this angle and this angle are both going to equal 132. So if I do 132 equals 14y minus 4, I can add 4 to both sides. 132 plus 4 is 136, and 136 divided by 14. Why did that give me a weird decimal? That always makes me feel like I did something wrong. So let's go back and double check. 3 times 37. 3 times 37 plus 11. It's going to give me 122, not 132. That makes a difference. So let's make that a 122 and see if that helps. 122. And then 126 divided by 14 gives me 9. Y equals 9. Now, just because it's a weird decimal doesn't mean it's always wrong, but a lot of times if you get a weird decimal, it's not quite right when you're working with geometry, okay? So here you've got your x's, so figure out how you're going to deal with those corresponding angles. Remember, corresponding angles slide, so one of two angles is sliding down onto the other. How are they related? And then how are these guys going to be related? How can you get y? And we'll talk about question 8 and question 6 and question 13 or question 4 and question 2 tomorrow. So 2, 4, 6, and 8, the last one on all of those slides we'll talk about tomorrow.